I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we explore the powerful and inspiration journey of Iraq veteran Alvis E. Smith. He has penned a powerful book. It is called A Stroke, A Soldier's Journey. After suffering a life-altering stroke in 2020, Al's story is one of perseverance, faith, and the unbreakable human spirit. Through his personal account, he reveals the challenges of recovery and the vital role his faith and family played in helping him overcome adversity. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Al, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Pleasure to have you on the show. This is an incredible story, an incredible book. Let's go back to 2020. What happened?
Well, I'll tell you what happened that morning. I got up, because of the pandemic. I went to the living room, turn on the TV, and see what was going on because New York was the epicenter of the pandemic. So I was trying to get some information about the pandemic. So I turned the TV on and got ready to walk back into my bedroom through the kitchen. And right when I got to the kitchen, there's a box, probably about 4 feet tall. And I tripped over the box. And when I tripped over the box, I thought everything was okay. And I realized I couldn't get up. My left side just went dead. I couldn't, every time I pushed my left arm to push myself back up, I couldn't do it. And I did that for like a long time. And so I just felt weak. I couldn't get up. And I even tried to, I was close to the front door, and I grabbed the door handle trying to pull myself up. And I couldn't pull myself up because my whole left side was weak. My leg was weak. My arm was weak. I couldn't do anything with the left side. And so I just laid, I just took a break. I said, I'll just lay here for a while and see what happens. And so I laid there, and so about an hour or 2 hours later, I guess I can't remember the time, it was just going by so fast. I tried it again. So I said, maybe this is just a phase. I'll feel better in a minute. And I didn't. I never felt better because my arm was dead. It was just weak. I couldn't do anything with the left side. So I tried again. I still couldn't get up. So I just laid there. And the crazy thing is that I was supposed to call my wife in Indiana because her mother had COVID. And she was giving me updates on her mother and stuff like that. But I was supposed to call her at 9 o'clock that morning, but I couldn't because my phone was still in the bedroom. So I just laid there, And so laying there just came, I could see that the sun was going down, the TV was still on, but you know how after a certain time, it just sort of stalls out and nothing, and it just lay there. So after that, I just laid there. So I laid there all night. I fell asleep. I fell asleep on the floor. And when I woke up, it was night. It was dark. And I was like, I kept praying. I said, Lord, please help me. Please help me, Lord. Lord, help me get out of this. And and all this stuff started going through my mind. I started thinking about my family, my brothers, my sisters, my grandmother. I started thinking about everything. And it just took me out, just really wore me out. And I didn't even realize I was having a stroke. I had to ask myself, I said, this is a stroke? This is a stroke? Am I having a stroke? And I didn't know what was going on. Because your mind started playing tricks on you.
Yep.
And so I laid there till the next day. Now it happened on Sunday. I said Sunday around 8 o'clock in the morning. So Sunday at 8 o'clock in the morning to that evening, all night, Sunday night. So I woke up and I see the sun coming up a little bit. It was Monday morning. So I said, man, I got to get up. I got to get out of here. And the whole time in the back of my mind, I was thinking because I had to do a presentation for my, because I was also a realtor at the time. I was a broker, and I was in charge of two offices. I had an office in Yonkers and an office in the Bronx. And I had to go to the Bronx to do my my weekly sales meeting. but I couldn't do it. But I know I couldn't do it because I just knew. I said, man, I'm in a place I can't even get up. I don't know. I can't even call anybody because my phone, my phone was in the bedroom, and I couldn't get up to go. And that was in the back of my mind. And so Monday morning, I said, man, I got to call. So I got to get out of here. I got to go. So I went to the door again. I tried to pull up on the door, and then I just couldn't do it. I tried with my right hand, but I couldn't pull up because my legs were so weak. And I was trying to shimmy my way to the kitchen, and I got to the sink. So I said, maybe I could pull up on the sink. And I pulled up just enough, but I couldn't get it because, when you only got one leg,
Yeah.
you had a disadvantage. So I kept trying to pull up, and I tried to pull up, push up my right. I just couldn't do it. And I'm in the kitchen now, and so I'm laying down in the kitchen. I got it, and I got tired. I just tired. I couldn't do it anymore, so I just laid down in the kitchen. I fell asleep again in the kitchen, and so started all over again. It's getting late. The sun's going down.
Nice.
It's starting to get dark again. So I'm like, wow, what's going on? And they say when you have a stroke, you need to be within a doctor's office or a medical facility within 3 hours.
Right.
Well, I'm laying there for 2 days.
God.
And I'm like, wow, what is going on? And so so I just lay there and fell asleep. I just laid there in the kitchen and fell asleep on the floor. And I guess about 6:30, 7 o'clock that evening, I heard a knock on the door. And it was a good friend of mine. It was a good friend of mine. It was Clayton Jeffries. He used to be my broker like a few years earlier, but he's my friend now. So he knocked on the door. He said, Al, are you all right? And I could barely speak because I hadn't had any water. I hadn't had any food. I was just weak. And I think I muttered, yeah, I'm all right. I'm okay. But I said, hey, I need some help. He said, okay. I couldn't even unlock the door because I had the latch on. I couldn't unlock the door. So they had to go get he went back and got the manager of the complex. And they came in, the maintenance team came in, they cut the lock. And that's how they broke it. They broke in and found me. And I was laid on the floor. And the paramedics came in, grabbed me up, stood me up, and took me to the hospital. And it was
Amazing.
crazy.
Torture to be laying there for days, days.
It was it,
Yeah.
it, it was horrific, man. It was horrific. I
I mean,
couldn't
you'd
even
been through
imagine.
Iraq, you'd been through some tough times, but nothing like this.
No. I was in Iraq. I was a soldier. I mean, I was in good shape. I thought I was in good shape.
Right.
But I went to airborne school. I was a paratrooper. So I went to airborne, jumping on the planes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so this really it really knocked me back. I mean, you
Yeah.
say the worst enemy I had was enemy inside. It was taking me out.
I know you didn't get that medical care that you needed right away. You stayed there for 2 days. Um, what was your recovery like?
Well, my recovery, I went to White Plains Hospital, which is a great hospital, and uh, and the care there was really good. I mean, it was slow, but it was good. I think I stayed in the hospital for like 3 weeks, and so the nurse and keep in mind, this is the same time as the pandemic, so I never got to see their face. All I saw was the eyes,
Yeah.
and so I never knew who was coming in. The only person I knew was this is at Burke Hospital, but sometimes I recognize the doctors because they came in so frequently. But like the nurses, I never knew which nurse was taking care of me, and so it was rough. It was really tough. And the after I came out of the hospital, then they sent me to Burke Rehabilitation Rehab in New York, and so I was there for about 4 weeks, and that was pretty. They were pretty good too. And when I first got to rehab, man, I couldn't even brush my teeth.
Hmm.
And brush my teeth. I couldn't wash my. I could barely wash my face. But after time, it got a little bit better, a little bit better. I started to get a little bit stronger, and um, so after the Burke rehab, They sent me home, but I had nurses to come to the house, come to
Mm.
my apartment, and they would help me, you know. So I did that. Oof, and I did that for like they probably did like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that.
Mm.
And then they committed me back to Burke to do outpatient rehab.
Mm.
And that's when I really started getting strong when I was at Burke Rehab outpatient.
Yeah.
And I could feel my legs getting stronger. I was I was I mean the main thing, when I first got out of the hospital and everybody tell me that was amazing. When I got out of the hospital, I didn't need a walker, I didn't need a cane,
Mm.
I didn't need a wheelchair, I didn't need anything. I was walking on my own. So I thank God for that. I'm so blessed. I thank God every day for that. And then so this is the crazy part. I was feeling good. I was like, man, I'm ready to go. I'm feeling good. My leg is getting stronger. I can use my right arm, my left arm a little bit. But then I'll never forget this. Labor Day. All this other stuff happened in April, May, June, all that. And then on Labor Day, I had a setback. I had a UTI infection.
Mm.
When I got to the hospital, I had sepsis.
Mm.
I needed a blood transfusion.
Oh my God.
And I came out of that. I said, boy, Lord, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I came out of that. And so they sent me to another rehab. They sent me to the uh, Jewish rehab center in I think that was in New Rochelle, New York. So I went
Yeah.
there and I was there for like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And that was kind of crazy. I kept falling because of my left side was so weak. I just kept falling.
Mm.
And they were telling me, they said, if you keep falling, we're gonna have to keep you here. And that just lit
Yeah.
something in my mind. I said, I don't want to stay here. I don't want to stay here. So I kept trying to get better, kept trying, and the nurses were trying to help me. I was learning to walk. The rail. You got the rails on both sides, and so you're trying to walk between them like that.
Mm.
And I was doing that, and I would go down in a wheelchair. They would take me down to the rehab uh, office in a wheelchair, and I got there, and I was just trying to walk 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other, left
Mm.
foot, right foot. And I was just doing it, and then they had this thing where people, you can't walk. People that can't walk with their legs, and they put them in this thing, and you gotta like learn to walk like a horse almost, just teach you how to walk.
Mm.
And it was just crazy. And the thing that really got me was that I had one nurse. She was really good. She was really really good. And so I just thank God. I just thank God for everything.
Yeah.
I made it through. I really just thank God.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, it was tough, and I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy because it was grueling.
Awful.
But
When you're in the hospital and completely dependent on others, you
yeah,
realize that angels exist and they are
yes,
nurses.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Because unfortunately, most of us have been there to one extent or another, not as bad as you in most cases, but you can't do anything for yourself. And
no.
you're completely dependent and good-hearted people who do it day in, day out,
I was lucky. I was really thankful for all the. I had some good nurses,
yeah.
really good nurses. Yeah,
And that makes a difference. Good doctors are important, but
right,
good nurses are the ones that really get you up and moving and get you motivated and get you strong again and all that.
right,
Where
right.
would you say you are now compared to where you started? Are you up 85%, 75%?
I would say I'm probably 80, 85%.
Good.
Yeah,
Well, you look great.
thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. I thank God for everything because from where I was to where I am now, it's a blessing. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's like a miracle, man, because
It's like you're back from the dead.
yes, yes,
A
yes,
laying, a torturous death of laying on the floor of your apartment, wondering if anybody's going to knock on the door or come find you.
right.
Awful, awful. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us today. We're glad you're doing well. Thanks for writing this really wonderful book. It's called A Stroke, A Soldier's Journey,
Okay.
and it tells the story of Alvis's real life journey after suffering a life-altering stroke in 2020. His story is one of perseverance, faith, and unbreakable spirit. This man is a soldier. He has been to some of the toughest war regions in the world, but all pale in comparison to what happened to him on an awful day in 2020 in his own home. But he has found the strength and the faith to battle back, and he'll have a victory here, and already does have a victory. Al, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I appreciate your time, sir. God bless you, and thank you for your service as well.
You know, I want to thank you also for letting me get my story out. For letting me tell my story. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Your story is so compelling. I don't have to ask a question because it's amazing, absolutely amazing. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.